What's up, guys? Mason the Rock Henderson here, and if it were not so late, I'd probably be bouncing off the walls right now. Really excited. But I have to keep it inside because it's late and I don't want to wake people up, so I'm just going to give it a nice good yes! And to Maxi Morales, yes! Sorry. Anyways, yeah, let's talk about the game. So, first of all, just want to talk about, since I did make the mention of Maxi Morales, let's talk about the referee tonight because, yeah, Mark Geiger once again showing that apparently all you have to do is just dress up in a nice yellow jersey and you could go to the World Cup as a referee. That's all it takes. You don't need to know anything about the sport. You don't need to know anything about a referee. You don't even have to be able to really understand anything. You could have an IQ of 3 and you can make it as a World Cup referee. I hate Mark Geiger. I really do. And I hate the fact that Maxi Morales has such a pull with the referees that he can do whatever he wants. Honestly, when he got the yellow card, I was astounded. I could not believe that the Maxi Morales got a yellow card. Because, well, honestly, it was a long time coming. Who was the other one? Number 30. He eventually got a yellow. He could have been on... he could have already been on a yellow whenever he... tripped up Miguel that led to our second goal. I mean, honestly, there were a couple challenges. He went into one on Joseph and then one on, I think one on Miguel. Both of them really, really, like, borderline yellow. No card, and then he finally gives him a yellow for that one. It's like, those are 3 borderline yellow card challenges. Like, it should only take 2 for him to be borderline yellow card. I don't know. It's so inconsistent what is and isn't a yellow in this game. You watch, I don't even remember who it was, Ring, I think it was, completely just wipes out Barco. Now, Barco did exaggerate a little bit, he spun into it, but he still just kicks him. He's not trying to play the ball, Barco flicks it past him, and he just trips him up. Not even trying to play the ball at all. No yellow. I'm just like, how is that not a yellow card? And in the first half, Morales, just every single time somebody touches him, the head goes back, the arms flail. He looks like a little baby that just tripped and fell in a park. And the referee just falls for it every single time. Every time it's a foul. It's a foul. And then even at one point, it's right after one of his dives. He's like, all right, hey. As if to say, hey, stop fouling him. I'm like, how many times has he actually been fouled? Because I only count maybe one time he was actually fouled. And while we're on the topic, why aren't you doing the same thing for Miguel or Joseph or Nagby? In fact, why don't you just say to all the New York City players, hey, most of you are 1 foul away from a yellow card? Because honestly, they were. They kept taking out all of our players. And most of the time it was when we're on the counterattack and they're dragging our players down or they're pulling them down. Heck, Franco's yellow card, which was totally deserved. It was pretty dangerous challenge to lunge in on over top the ball. Morales does the exact same thing. Nothing. Not even a foul. What's the difference? Franco goes over the ball. It's a yellow card. Morales goes over the ball. Not even a foul. Morales, you do whatever you want. It's so frustrating to see some players get away with stuff. Villa getting away with knocking Brad to the ground. You're just completely undercutting him and no card. You have to protect the keeper. That's that is one of the basics of, what is it, referee training, I guess. You protect the keeper. Unless he's really obviously flopping, which in this case he was not, you protect him. Somebody goes in on the keeper, it's a yellow card. And there was one more thing, I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, the 2 players, one time it was Villa and the other time I don't remember who it was, but just sitting on the ball. Like, literally sitting on the ball. They're sitting down on the ground, sitting there. It's not a foul. They just flopped over top onto the ball and kept playing. They're sitting on it. They're staying over top of it. One guy even tried to flick it up from the ground. I'm like, hang on. Did I miss something? Is there a change in professional rules that changed from the years that I've been playing where all of a sudden now you can play on the ground? Because last time I checked, that's dangerous play, and that's our ball. Please accommodate. Just the simple stuff like this. I'm just like, is this guy actually supposed to be a referee? Or is he just like a clown in referee costume? Because that's what it seems like to me sometimes. So anyway, there's my rant about the referee because, in the MLS, you're probably going to rant about the referee at some point because most of them are terrible. Now let's talk about us. So yeah, overall, I mean, performance was really, really good. Very strong, very solid in the back again. Mostly down to I think the formation. We have that strong back five almost. Whenever we're defending, and on top of that, you have the two midfielders in front doing a good job of cutting off passes and really slowing down the play. So yeah, I think this formation really, really helps us. The only real big problem that I had overall was near the end of the game. Once again, we kind of get in that phase of we're ahead, and so we're going to waste a lot of time. Now, don't get me wrong. I know time wasting is part of the game. Every team does it at some point. I understand that. And when we're doing it, I'm like, okay, so we're wasting a little bit of time, maybe getting some of the momentum back, that's fine. However, whenever it gets into the too much category, where either you're on the border of getting a yellow card or it's getting to the point where we're just racking up time that's going to get added on to the end of the game, that's where I have a problem with it. Because all that time that we spent, we had 5 minutes of stoppage time because we spent so much time just, walking over, grabbing the ball, tossing that one away, and then getting another one. All this time, it's going to be added on to the end when we're even more tired. So why not use that time up now? Why not just get the ball, throw it in play, keep the ball moving around, make the ball do the work, make them have to track you down and work hard. So that way by the end of the game, instead of 5 minutes, we're more like 3 minutes. It's something that I feel like teams do a lot of the time. They're like, they're wasting time. No, they're just adding more time on to the end of the game when they're going to be more tired, and all of a sudden 5 minutes feels like 20 minutes almost. So I get a little frustrated with that. But anyway, let's talk about individual performances. Brad made some good saves, had to come out and collect. I thought on the goal he should have done better, honestly. It was a header pretty much right at him, and he didn't do enough to get it wide. And I just feel like part of that was down to the fact he didn't really move his feet to get there. He just kind of fell and then put his hands on it, and it wasn't strong enough. So I mean, it's one mistake, but it's a mistake that leads to a goal. So it's kind of like, do you take that one thing away from him, or do you look at the positives? Do you try to take both? I think, in my opinion, he'll probably try to look at both. He'll look at that and be pretty upset with himself. But overall, I think he did play well. It was just that one mistake. Thankfully, it was only one mistake. In the back three, Robinson, Parkhurst, and Perez. All three of them I thought played well. Perez tonight was kind of back to his old self whenever it came to on the ball, just giving away possession sometimes. Defensively, he still looks good. There is also the thing, though, where he gets very hot-headed. Yeah, that's a problem. Mainly because we need him to stay focused, and whenever he's going at the referee, it's like you're not focused on what's going on. You're yelling at the referee. Your completely attention's there. And on top of that, we all know Mark Geiger is the type of referee that when you yell at him, he gets pissed and he starts making calls against you. So maybe don't yell at the referee, and I get that it's frustrating. I get the same way. When calls don't go my way, I get pissed. I yell at the referees too. But when you're at this level and stuff is going on and the referee's made a call, say your bit, and let the captain do some of the talking, and then you're done. Get back in position, do what you're supposed to do. Quit going after the referees every single time something doesn't go your way. So it's something that really frustrates me sometimes whenever it takes away from his game, because he is a good player and he showed it. But those moments of hot-headedness still pop up from time to time, and it's pretty frustrating to watch. Michael in the middle, once again, being that anchor in the back three, I think is the perfect position for him. It lets him see the entire field. It lets him control what's around him, and he's a really smart defender, so having him back there is very, very comfortable. And then Miles, as the right of those three, hasn't played in a while for the first team, so first game back, and in my opinion, did pretty well. He was up against some tough competition tonight, and I thought he did well. He's a very physical player, so he stood up to the challenge. The only thing I really noticed was there were just a couple times where he got caught stepping too much into the middle, and it left some space on the outside of him that Franco is covering the guy wide, so he can't really step in, or else that guy is completely completely unmarked. So there's just a couple times where he got caught stepping in, but that's where when you have two veterans like Brad and like Michael who are helping him, I feel like he can start to learn that side of the game as well. And on top of that, we do need another defender back there because Jeff has been doing okay, but he's not the best option. Franco, we've seen, isn't really good in the back three. Chris can be at times, but I feel like he's not really a defender. He's just very physical and good in the air. So I do think we need another defender there, and Miles, I think, can do it. On top of that, it also allows Franco to be on the right wing back instead of a right center back. Because honestly, tonight I thought Franco once again played very well. And he's really been doing well ever since he moved out to that wide position. He's working his butt off. He's making good passes. He's working hard defensively. There was one ball gets chipped through to him, and it's almost like almost out of bounds. It's like he's probably not going to get there. He still works hard. He keeps it in, and then whenever the defender gets it, because he kept it in for the defender, he's then back up and he's in the defender's face again and forces a mistake that nearly leads to a chance. It's moments like that that I appreciate out of players. I appreciate when they put in that hard work. It's not beneficial to them. It doesn't really help them per se, but it helps the team. It helps keep New York City from getting out and coming back at us with our right wing back out of position. So I just love watching players work like that. And overall, I thought he played very well. And Garza on the other side, not as effective, I think, as Franco, but overall did his job well enough. Defensively was solid enough, didn't really have any problems on that right side. And on the attack, he didn't really get up as much as he normally does, but I thought, he still had some good passes, had some good connectivity with the players around him. So, yeah, he was kind of an unspoken player, but not bad. Just did his job well. And then in the middle, Eric and Darlington, both of them played well. Eric did a great job of keeping Morales completely under control. Never really saw much of him. He ended up having to drop further back to kind of get on the ball because every time he got on it, Eric was right on top of him. And he's either, flopping and winning the foul, or Eric's poking the ball away. And, it was a really good defensive display from him tonight. And that's more of what I want to see from him. Because Darlington, he's the distributor. He's the one that can pick it up and turn and run. Eric, he can do it, but I feel like he needs to be the defensive one because we need a defensive midfielder out of those two. And Darlington's not really a defensive-minded player. He can do it because he's fast, but he's not really the one that's going to track back, track runs, and mark players. So I feel like Eric needs to learn that side of the game, and I thought he did it really well tonight. So hopefully he can continue on from there. And as far as Darlington is concerned, very good link-up play. Once again, very quick, good turn, getting out of pressure, and then finding a good pass to allow us to get up the field. In front of them, Julian Gressel. Yeah, Julian, he's okay. He's not an out-and-out midfielder. He's not the best option we have there. But one of the things that I do think I'm going to give him credit for, because if you watch my reviews from last year, I'm not a big fan of his. I think he's a really good right wing back. I think that is the position he was born to play because he's very good at whipping in across, and when he's out there, he doesn't really have to do a whole lot. So if you get him the ball out wide, he can find some passes, he can find some crosses. But you put him in the midfield, he's not as effective. He's not as quick on the turn, so whenever somebody puts pressure on him, he's probably going to lose it most of the time. But one of the things I will give him credit for is last year when he was in a bad position or whenever he was having a bad game, it hurt us. It was giveaways, it was a lack of effort, it was like we had a lack of a player on the field whenever he was out there and having a bad game. This year, I haven't really noticed that as much. There have been games where he's kind of been silent, and even tonight there were moments in the game where he went silent. And defensively, I still have the same problem that I did in the last New York City game where he goes to pressure one of the defenders or one of the defensive midfielders. Really tired. My words are getting all jumbled. But he goes to pressure and he'll really dive in. They'll fake a pass and he will jump. And then all of a sudden they take it around him and they're driving at our defensive midfield and our defense. Those are the moments that I'm kind of like, okay, we don't need you to do that. We just need you to stand them up. Don't let them have a pass. Force them one way, but please stop diving in and letting them run at us. But aside from that, he didn't do anything poor. On the ball, he looks okay. He can have a quick turn from time to time. Passing wise, I mean, he finds players. Last year, that was not a thing that I expected out of him. So, he has made a lot of improvements to the point where now I don't notice him for the bad stuff, which is it really was a thing for me last year. Every time I saw him, he's losing the ball or he's putting in a terrible cross or he's having a terrible shot, and I'm just like, come on, like this is awful. This year, I haven't had many problems with him, if any. So that's really good, for him to come as far as he has this year and really be an asset to the team. I feel like he's come a long way, and I do appreciate what he's done for the team. I still feel like he's not as effective in the midfield, but it's just Tata loves to play him everywhere, so he's going to keep doing it. And then as far as the front two of Miguel and Joseph, both of them worked hard, ended up getting subbed out later because they worked so hard. And, I really do appreciate the hard work. Even Joseph, I've had issues with him in the past where he sort of turns off and gets frustrated and doesn't really do much. The past two games, he's been working very hard to try to win the ball back, to put himself in good positions, and he's been rewarded for it, whether it's good defensive blocks, whether it's goals tonight. I mean, he really has been showing what he can do when he puts his mind to it. So I do kind of have to think, why can't you do this all the time? But I think overall, very good game from both of them. Of the two, I would say probably Joseph had the slightly better game, just because Miguel, mainly in the second half, started to rush too much. Started to try to play crazy quick balls or tried to dribble out of pressure too much. So just he kind of lost his game a little bit in the second half, lost his edge. But then about that time is when the sub came for him. But yeah, both of them did play well overall. And then as far as the subs, Ezekiel came on for Miguel, Tito came on for Joseph, and then Kevin came on for Nagby. All three of them came on and, just they worked hard. They just did their job. They were asked to go out there, keep everything just running smoothly. The front two of Ezekiel and Tito just keep working hard, keep putting pressure. They did. They created some chances. Kevin, go out there, just run around the midfield, put pressure on people whenever the ball comes to him. He did that. So, yeah, overall, I was very pleased with every facet of the team. The one mistake, the free kick that Franco gave up, it was a dumb decision for him to try to dribble out of the defense and then on top of that lunge to win the ball, which then gives the free kick, which leads to the goal. But aside from that, I mean, I can't really think of many mistakes, like out and out obvious mistakes. Most of the time, if it's a giveaway or something along those lines, they are trying to do something positive. It just didn't come off. That was the only instance where it wasn't something positive. It was just something stupid, and it led to that terrible challenge. So, I mean, overall, I'm very happy. It's looking. I'm pretty sure the game is probably already finished between New York and Columbus. When I last checked, it was very obvious that New York was probably about to run away with it some more. But yeah, most likely it's going to be New York that we face. I just want to confirm before I say that, and then it's not them. My internet's slow. Hang on. It's being really slow. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, they're through. Okay, so yeah, we're facing New York. Yeah, it's going to be a difficult one. New York is probably the only team this year that I think has really figured out how to play against us. Not just as far as how to defend against us and how to use that against us and counterattack, but also they know how to get in the referee's pockets and get the calls that they need. So, and yes, I'm saying that as a joke. I don't actually believe that they paid off the referees, but they do happen to get a lot of favorable calls in their favor. Favorable calls. I'm really tired. I probably should just end this review right now before I say anything else stupid. Okay. Long story short, it's going to be difficult for this next, for the conference final. We've got 2 legs to get the job done, though. First leg is going to be at our place. It's important to start off strong. Don't let them get an away goal. Make sure, put a couple in. I'd honestly say go up 2-0 would probably be the ideal situation. That way, we go to their place. If we do give up that one goal, it's not that big of a deal. If we can get a goal ourselves, now all of a sudden we put ourselves in the driver's seat. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult because they are probably they're not the best team. I think we are the best team personally. Whenever we play like we can, I think there's no team that can beat us. But they are very close. They are just as talented. They have just as many good players. And on top of that, they do get favorable calls from the referees. So, it's one of those things. They just get the rub of the green when it comes to that. We got to deal with it. We can't let it get to our heads. We can't let it happen what happened at home last time where we let it get into affecting our play. We just got to make sure, don't let that affect us. Go out there, do the job, get it done, and come home with the conference final champions. And then move on and win the MLS playoffs as well. So, all that being said, that's it for me. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on tonight's game? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Atlanta United reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next game. Peace out.